All right, we're going to start in 3 seconds. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Orange County School Board's work session, which has been scheduled for today, Thursday, March 14th, 2024, for the purpose of discussing school board policies, JLC, Student Health Services requirements, and JLCD, medicines administering. This can't be right.
It is correct. We are going to be we're recommending that we change the title.
The title is Medicines Administering Medicines to Students.
That's what it's titled, yes.
I don't think there'll be any question about that one. We're going to change that title. Good news. JLCE, First Aid and Emergency Medical Care. The public will not have an opportunity to participate in this work session to provide public comment because this is not a regularly scheduled school board meeting and no action will be taken. And there will be no open public comment period in which the public would normally address the school board on relevant topics that are related to the work of the board. Thank you all so much again for joining us this morning. Board members are attending in person. We do not have any attending virtually at this point. Is virtually. Okay. Do we have Member Gould on the line? Wonderful. All right, then let me do a quick roll call.
Here, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. And we have Member Gallo and Member Byrd and myself.
And Member Felder is running about 20 minutes late.
Okay, very good. Okay. So technically, do we have, do we have a quorum?
You can still have the meeting. You're not
Right.
taking any official action today, so it's okay.
Right. All right, thank you. Again, I want to remind the public that board members will not be engaging in outside electronics or digital communication during the meeting so that we can focus on the business before the board. To my fellow board members and district staff, when speaking, please make sure your microphone is turned on and speak directly and closely into your microphone so that our YouTube and Orange TV viewers can hear you clearly. With that, we're going to take a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and I invite everyone to join me. And now for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to turn the floor over to the superintendent, Dr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have just a handful of policies to review with the board today. We will pause after each policy for questions from the board, and I will now turn it over to Sylvia Schaefer to begin our presentation.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, and Superintendent Vasquez. I am Dr. Sylvia Schaefer, Senior Director for ESE Health Services. This is Dr. Michelle Rutilius, Director of Health Services. Today we will review before the board JLC, Student Health Requirements, JLCD, Medicines Administering Medicines to Students, and JLCE, First Aid and Emergency Care. Today's agenda is a review of the timeline, summary of actions, proposed revisions, next steps, and questions and discussions. The tentative schedule is as follows. Cabinet meeting was completed on March 4th. The work session is occurring today, March 14th. Rule development workshop is scheduled for May 9th. Board approval for May 28th, and the effective date will be determined upon approval. Today, we will review JLC, Student Health Services and Requirements, JLCD, Medicines Administering Medicines to Students, and JLCE, First Aid and Emergency Medical Care. We will now begin to review JLC, Student Health Services and Requirements. Policy JLC is being revised to update the requirement for written permission from the parent legal guardian for any screening and to update reporting requirements to the Florida Department of Health in Orange County. Proposed revisions made to the existing policy language to include content, formatting, and terminology edits consistent with statutory and rule language. In student illness section 1, the wording is changed from removed to sent. Removed may have a negative connotation versus sent home implies the student is now with the parent or guardian. In section 2 of student illness, the wording is changed to reflect the correct name of Florida Department of Health in Orange County and to follow the established protocol. Also in section 2 of student illness, OCPS Health Services will provide guidance to the schools following current procedures where health services collaborates with other OCPS departments and the Florida Department of Health in Orange County as needed to provide schools with comprehensive guidance when managing communicable diseases. Under student guideline procedures concerning human immunodeficiency virus, sections 1 and 2, the wording has been changed to include other communicable diseases, not limiting the policy to HIV and AIDS. The word "and" was added to address that either the superintendent or designee shall be the district spokesperson. In section 3, the pronouns he and she have been removed and replaced with the student. Positive was added to address a confirmed and documented communicable disease. Designee was added to address any situations that may occur when the principal is off campus. Under school health services, section 1 has been changed to correctly identify the Florida Department of Health in Orange County by its proper name. In section 2, written permission from the parent legal guardian is required for any screening that has been added to reflect that parental bill of rights. Designee was added to address situations that may occur when the principal is off campus. This concludes revisions for policy JLC.
All right. Any questions or comments from boards members? I don't see any. Wait, member vice chair.
Thank you. Just a quick question. On school and health services, policy 1, where school board's crossed out and it says a district. Was the school board ever communicate? I don't ever remember communicating with the Florida Health Department.
No, that's why we thought that was important change.
Okay, so it was there, but it wasn't, yeah. Okay, because I'm like, was that our responsibility? We didn't know it? Okay, thank you.
All right. Let me just check. Member Gould, you're with us. Do you have any questions at this time or comments?
No, Chair, none.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Dr. Vasquez?
Madam Chair, if it's easier, they can just continue with the next one.
Okay.
Okay. The next policy to review is JLCD, medicines, administering medicines to students. Policy JLCD is being revised to rename the policy to student medications, to update the requirements for medications to be administered to students during school hours, and to add medication to relieve headaches and topical sunscreen as permitted items for students to possess and use on school property in accordance with Section 1002.20 Florida statutes. Proposed revisions made to the existing policy language to include content, formatting, and terminology edits with statutory language. The name of the policy has been changed to student medications. In Section 1, the wording has been added to clarify that it is expectation to have 2 additional backup clinic staff trained to have the ability to provide services to students in the event of absent staff members. Section 2 wording has been added to clarify that when possible, outside of school hours, a parent or legal guardian shall administer medication to the student. Section 4 wording has been added to clarify that a parent legal guardian shall bring the medication to the clinic. It cannot be sent in a backpack or with a sibling, as the parent legal guardian must complete and sign paperwork for the medication. Section 4 has been changed to clarify that medications used by a student while on campus or while away from school property on official school business, the medication shall be delivered to the clinic by the parent or guardian, with the information provided by the medical provider, to include the wording under 4B. This clarifies that the school will follow guidelines for medication administration provided by the student's medical provider. Section 6, the wording has been changed to address that no expired medications shall be accepted, administered, or stored in OCPS school clinics, to include over-the-counter and prescription medications. Under Section 9, designee has been added to address situations that may occur when the principal is off campus. Section 12 has been added to the policy to address Florida Statute 1002.20, which states the following: a student may possess and use a medication to relieve headaches while on school property or at a school-sponsored event or activity without a physician's note or prescription if the medication is regulated by the United States Food and Drug Administration for over-the-counter use to treat headaches. Under the Florida statute, students may also possess and use topical sunscreens while on school property or at a school-sponsored event. Under the administration of medical marijuana to students during school hours, the only change is to number 3, where the actual number 3 has been added next to the written 3. This concludes revisions for policy JLCD.
All right, thank you. Vice Chair?
Thank you. So I have a question about the medical marijuana. Are they allowed to administer it to the student on campus?
Yes, the parent or guardian would bring it. They would sign into the office. They would go to a semi-private location on site. They would administer it. It has to be out of sight at all times. And then that same person would sign out and take it with them.
So the parent has to come to the school to administer it?
Yes.
Okay. And that doesn't violate our drug-free? Okay.
Brings it, so our employees don't have to touch it, possess it, or anything.
Okay, awesome. Because I think at one time I was getting calls from parents, not maybe one, that they had to take them off school campus to administer it.
So some districts are doing that. They're requiring them to sign the child out, take them off campus, administer it, and sign them back in. We decided a long time ago, years ago, when we added this provision to this statute, to the policy, back in 2018, that for the convenience of our students, a lot of these students are medically fragile, and to request a parent to take them off of campus to administer medication that they need to then bring them back was a little cumbersome for them.
Absolutely. And just so we're clear, this is a federal law. That's why our employees cannot administer.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All right, next.
Okay. The final policy before you today is JLCE, First Aid Emergency Medical Care. Policy JLCE is being revised to authorize the principal or designee to provide guidance when a parent legal guardian cannot be reached in the event of an emergency, and to update the time period within which an accident incident report must be completed. Proposed revisions made to the existing policy language to include content, formatting, and terminology edits with statutory language. In the title, the word "and" has been added. In the policy description, pupil has been changed to student. In Section 3 of student injuries, the wording has been changed to notify the parent legal guardian. It also includes verbiage that the principal has discretion to provide guidance for the care and safety of the student in the event that a parent legal guardian cannot be reached. Section 4 has been changed to address that in the event of a serious injury or life-threatening situation, the principal or designee shall call 911. In Section 5, the wording has been changed to mirror the wording in Policy EBB, Accident Prevention and Safety Program, revised June 14th, 2022, which provides that a report shall be filed with risk management within 24 hours. Also in Section 5, wording has been added to include that specific details must be provided when the report is made. Section 7, the wording has been updated to follow the procedures schools are currently following when notifying OCPS district office of an emergency on the campus, either by phone or by email. Under the administration of first aid by school personnel, Section 2,
The first aid and medical care, it's under Section 5. It's in Section 5. In the case of a student accident or incident, a report must be completed within 24 hours of the incident and submitted to risk management. I know it probably seems nitpicky, but there's two things that come to my mind. So if one, obviously the school has to be aware of it in order to report it, but assuming that something happens on, I don't know, a Thursday morning, the school would have until the Friday morning to report it. If something happens late on a Friday at the end of the day, when we say 24 hours, can we make that 24 hours? I want to say within the school day, but we're not in the school day. But the idea that something happens late on a Friday, you can't meet the 24 hours unless you're reporting it on a Saturday. So it would seem to me that maybe the appropriate thing is on a Monday, but I'm not sure if that's the intent. So
if I may, Madam Chair, we revised policy EBB to include 24 hours. What if we were to potentially make it one workday?
Yeah, Again, I don't know if this is based on like some statutory requirement or something.
I don't think
but
so.
If it's really our discretion, I feel like one workday would be more appropriate, because it's not necessarily referring to a serious accident. It's any accident or incident. That's pretty broad. And I think it also should say, once the school is aware, again, that part's probably obvious to most of us, but some of our parents might feel differently about whether we're aware or not matters. Okay, Vice Chair Gallo.
Thank you. Is it this stupid mic? Mine is more of a suggestion for the superintendent. I was talking to some teachers after what happened at the high school early this week, and they had a suggestion about training to have the teachers and students know how to do a tourniquet, like in our HOPE class or health class. And so I just wanted to kind of throw that suggestion out there since we're talking about this policy. I know it wouldn't apply for today, but that would be super helpful in the event that they're in the classroom and that they would be able to assist.
I know that we participate in Stop the Bleed, but we can certainly have Dr. Brown Cannon's team take a look at how we can ensure that that training has taken place beyond, because I think Stop the Bleed is targeted to
Absolutely.
just high school. I don't think it's targeting middle school. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah,
Thank
that is a great suggestion.
It came from a teacher, so I won't take credit for it.
Yeah, and I think most people feel like, if they know how to perform the Heimlich and CPR, they're covered. But it's really alarming how many people die from bleeding to death from not just gun violence, but other things. So, and I can picture, unfortunately, a situation where you really want the teacher in that classroom to be able, when you're in lockdown, if there is an incident. So anyway, I'm really glad you brought that up. One year for Christmas, I gave all my kids a Stop the Bleed kit to carry with them, and I carry one in my car. I will tell you, it wasn't the most popular Christmas present I ever gave them, but I thought it was the most important one I had given them to date. So without any further comments, we're back to you.
The next steps will be to obtain input from the public at the May 9th, 2024 Rule Development Workshop and from the school board on the proposed revisions. And
All right.
School board members, I now turn it back over to Superintendent Vasquez.
I think
Ms.
it's the
Vasquez?
record.
Dr. Vasquez, I'm sorry. Would you mind if I call him Member Gould real quickly? Because I think we're about to
Sure.
wrap up, and I forgot to check in with her on the rest of these, just in case she has any comments or questions. Member Gould?
I am good with all of the changes that were discussed, and I am also very in support of the Stop the Bleed.
All right, thank you. Again, Dr. Vasquez, I apologize for the interruption, but I think we're about to adjourn, so.
Yes, I
Yes.
think it might be the shortest work session we've had with multiple policies.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job to the team. And certainly the shortest work session since I've been on the board. So with that, we are going to adjourn. Thank you all.
Have a good day.
Thank you.